Hi there. I'd like to introduce you to listen to PDF document stories. What does this do? Well, let's just see what it does. So here we have 4 PDFs. Let's pick the GPT-4 technical review PDF. Let's go 4. Let the app do the speaking for it. So it's just going to summarize and let's see what it says.
In the GPT-4 technical report by OpenAI, the development of a large-scale, multimodal model capable of processing both image and text inputs which can produce text outputs was discussed. This model, GPT-4, exhibited human-level performance on various professional and academic benchmarks, including passing a simulated bar exam with a score in the top 10% of test takers. These capabilities make GPT-4 a significant development in the areas of dialogue systems, text summarization, and machine translation. Furthermore, GPT-4 outperforms previous large language models and most state-of-the-art systems on traditional NLP benchmarks. However, it still faces limitations that were present in earlier GPT models, such as being unreliable in certain scenarios and having a limited context window. Despite these limitations, developing GPT-4's infrastructure and optimization methods allowed for accurate predictions regarding its performance to be made. The capabilities and limitations of GPT-4 present unique safety challenges, including bias, disinformation, over-reliance, privacy, cybersecurity, and proliferation. The report shares interventions that were made to mitigate potential harm, including adversarial testing with domain experts and model-assisted safety pipelines. The report does not provide details on the architecture, hardware, training compute, dataset construction, or training method due to the competitive landscape and safety implications. Instead, the report focuses on the capabilities, limitations, and safety properties of GPT-4, a transformer-style model pre-trained to predict the next token in a document that scales predictably. The report provides insight into the optimization and infrastructure methods that allow for scalability in performance and predicts GPT-4's performance with great accuracy. The report also includes methodology to predict capabilities on the human eval dataset, which measures the ability to synthesize Python functions of varying complexity. Despite challenges,
So we
the
are
report
using
shows
the
that there is a predictable
PDF
scaling of
document stories
capabilities
app.
on the dataset. OpenAI plans to make further technical details available to additional third parties to advise on transparency and safety considerations. The next page of the GPT-4 technical report discusses the performance of GPT-4 in comparison to smaller models. The report includes 2 figures. Figure 1 illustrates the performance of GPT-4 and smaller models on the
work though. Let's refresh. If Streamlit wants to agree, yeah. So I put in 4 sample PDF documents. You can upload your own. Let's go to the next one. I don't know. Let's go to Nvidia 2022 annual report. Let's summarize 3 pages of it.
Nvidia is a place where brilliant minds can come together to tackle tough problems that can reshape the world for the better. Their innovation has led to great technological advancements and has had a significant impact on many important industries.
While this is playing, I'll pull up
they
the
delved
Nvidia
into creating a digital twin for regional climate
report.
prediction called Earth 2, utilizing Omniverse technology. Nvidia's cloud gaming service, GeForce Now, allows individuals without a high-performance gaming setup to rent powerful GPUs and play games like Fortnite and Marvel's Avengers on their computer or smartphone. With Nvidia's RTX technology, PC games now look better than they ever have before. Over
So it's
250
summarizing,
games
telling
and
a story about this
applications,
document.
including Cyberpunk 2077 and Autodesk 3ds Max, use RTX to deliver stunning ray-traced graphics. Furthermore, the newer Nvidia GeForce 30 series GPUs offer unmatched performance, whether it be on high-end rigs or thin and lightweight laptops.
Please ask if you
Nvidia
have
has
any
recently
questions on
unveiled a
the
range of
chat
powerful
box.
new products designed to bolster next-generation data centers. With artificial intelligence, AI, models becoming increasingly sophisticated, companies are processing mountains of data to refine and train their models. As a result, Nvidia has introduced a new type of data center that can accommodate this AI-based
We are talking about the
technology.
app.
At GTC 2022,
Listen to, so
Nvidia
you can
introduced
go to
various new
PDF
products
stories.
such as the new Hopper
Maybe I'll put it
GPU
in
and Grace CPU Superchip, new networking
Here, you
technology,
can try
and
it
new
yourself.
software products to serve its customers' needs. This new range of products is designed to power up next-generation data centers with more sophistication and efficiency.
Let's try another one. Let's try Moby Dick, which is a seminal novel. Let's go 4 pages on that.
In Chapter 1, Loomings, the protagonist introduces himself as Ishmael and explains that he decided to go to sea in order to escape his melancholy. He compares his desire to sail with Cato's decision to fall on his sword. Ishmael believes that many people share his feelings towards the ocean. He then describes the city of Manhattan, surrounded by wharves and water on all sides, and its downtown area at Battery Park where people gather to watch the waves. As you stroll through the city on a dreamy Sabbath afternoon, you may notice thousands of people gazing out into the ocean depths. It's a Monday through Friday type of worker that's making up the crowds, not sailors or fishermen. Why are they here? Do they miss the fields and countryside? More passers-by begin to arrive and walk towards the water, determined to get as close as possible without falling in. They come from all corners of the city, yet gather here at the water's edge. As you ponder the reason behind this magnetic attraction, think of a walk in the countryside. No matter which direction you head, you'll end up in a valley or by a pool. The magic of the land is overwhelming, and even the most distracted person can't help but become one with nature. The author discusses the importance of water in our lives, stating that it is an essential element that we are naturally drawn towards. The author suggests that even in the most picturesque landscapes, without water, something is missing. The author gives various examples to illustrate the point. If you get lost in a desert, a metaphysical professor cannot help but only water can save you. If an artist wants to create a romantic landscape, the magic stream must be present, and if you go deep in prairies in June, you will find there are no waters even if there are tiger lilies. The author also asks why a poor poet would take a pedestrian trip to Rockaway Beach instead of buying a coat he needed, and why robust boys with healthy souls often want to go on sea voyages. The author concludes that water has a mystical or magical power that attracts us all. The author ponders why water and the sea hold such a significant meaning in several cultures and stories. They refer to Greek mythology, the
We
story of
are
Narcissus,
listening to
and the
a
Persians'
story
veneration of the sea
summary
to explain water's mystic
of a PDF file. In this case, the novel Moby Dick.
power. The author then clarifies that when they say they go to sea, it's not as a passenger, captain or cook, as they find such toilsome and do not care for them. However, they admit to the glory of cooking a broiled fowl.
At the end, you can download the summary text. Like, let's do that. Yeah, I guess both buttons don't stay. But this app allows you to do that. I guess I need some. So it's with the summarizations, which were read. Yeah, I guess there's some debugging to do. But other than that, how about potentials all you need? This is an interesting one. This was the paper which gave way to GPT, essentially. Attention is all you need. Search for it. Look. Attention is all you need. If you search for that, then you'll come to this paper. Oh, let me zoom in. Well, you can read it, or we're going to get it summarized. Well, not all of it, but 4 pages of it. Why not? The link to the app is in the description if you want to try it. Let's go. Let's just let's see what it says.
This page discusses a paper titled ReacT, Synergizing Reasoning and Acting in Language Models. The paper explores the use of large language models, LLMs, to generate both reasoning traces and task-specific actions in an interleaved manner. This allows for greater synergy between reasoning and acting.
I actually might have made a mistake by reading. That's not attention is all you need. Attention all you need is here. Okay, I made a mistake. So see, I'm glad I found it. Anyway, no, that's fine. I'll download this. That's fine. All right. Let's go back to the app. Browse. I'm gonna go here. I just misnamed. I just realized it. Anyway, it's gonna summarize it again. Because I also had, I was thinking about the React agent in LangChain, such as, but this one, this is it.
Enabling the model to induce, track, and up. This page discusses a paper titled ReacT, Synergizing Reasoning and Acting in Language Models.
Okay, let me refresh. Let's begin again. Okay, we're learning about bugs. Gonna fix. Let's go though. This should work.
The authors of this paper, who come from both Google Brain and Google Research as well as the University of Toronto, propose a new architecture for sequence transduction models that is based solely on attention mechanisms, called the transformer. Unlike traditional models that rely on complex convolutional or recurrent neural networks, the transformer is more parallelizable and requires significantly less time to train. In experiments on machine translation tasks, the transformer outperformed other models, achieving a single model state-of-the-art blur score of 41.8 on the WMT 2014 English to French translation task. The authors also successfully applied the transformer to English constituency parsing with large and limited training data.
This is a summary of the PDF, the research paper.
The article explains that recurrent models are limited due to their sequential nature, which makes it difficult to parallelize within training examples, and that attention mechanisms have been used to overcome these limitations in various tasks. The article proposes the transformer, a model architecture that relies entirely on an attention mechanism to draw global dependencies between input and output, without using sequence-aligned RNNs or convolution. This architecture allows for significantly more parallelization and can reach a new state-of-the-art in translation quality. The article discusses self-attention and the advantages of the proposed architecture over other models. The transformer follows an encoder-decoder structure using stacked self-attention and point-wise, fully connected layers for both the encoder and decoder. The paper presents the transformer model architecture for sequence transduction tasks, which relies solely on attention mechanisms. The encoder is composed of a stack of n equals 6 identical layers, each layer having 2 sublayers, a multi-head self-attention mechanism and a fully connected feed-forward network. Similarly, the decoder also has n equals 6 identical layers, with an additional sublayer that performs multi-head attention over the output of the encoder. The decoder also modifies the self-attention sublayer to prevent positions from attending to subsequent positions, ensuring that the predictions for a position depend only on the known outputs at positions less than I. The attention
see,
function
this
of the
is pretty
model
technical.
maps a
It's an
query and a set of
explanation of a
key value
technical
pairs to an
document.
output, where the output is computed as a weighted sum of the values, with the weight assigned to each value computed based on a compatibility function of the query with the corresponding key. This page discusses the attention mechanism used in the transformer architecture. The attention function is computed on a set of queries packed together into a matrix, along with keys and values in separate matrices. The scaled dot product attention is used, which computes dot products of query and keys, divides each by dk, applies a softmax function to obtain weights on the values. Multi-head attention is used where queries, keys, and values are projected h times with learned linear projections to dk, and dv dimensions, respectively. Attention is performed in parallel on these projections and concatenated and projected again to get the final values. The article notes that additive and dot product attentions are widely used, but dot product attention is faster and space efficient since it can use optimized matrix multiplication code. However, for large values of dk, dot products can become large and push the softmax function into regions with small gradients, which leads to the process of scaling the dot products by 1/pdk. The authors of this text propose a new network architecture called the transformer, which is based solely on attention mechanisms and eliminates the need for recurrent or convolutional neural networks. They conducted experiments on 2 machine translation tasks and found that their transformer models were superior in quality and required less time to train. In fact, their model achieved a score of 28.4 blur on the WMT 2014 English to German translation task and established a new single model state-of-the-art score of 41.8 blur on the WMT 2014 English to French translation task. The authors also demonstrated that the transformer generalizes well to other tasks, such as English constituency parsing, with both large and limited training data. In the field of language modeling and machine translation, recurrent models have been used to generate a sequence of hidden states along the input and output
We are in
sequences.
search of better
However,
PDFs.
this sequential nature prevents parallelization within training
It's called
examples,
PDFs.
thereby limiting batching across examples. Recent efforts have been made to achieve improvements in computational efficiency through
So we are
factorization
at
tricks
Google
and
Books.
conditional
Let's
computation,
search for
but the fundamental
Rennie
constraint of
Car.
sequential computation remains. To overcome this, attention mechanisms have been introduced to help model dependencies without regard to their distance in the input or
This
output
one,
sequences.
maybe, can we
These
download?
attention mechanisms are often used in
As a
conjunction
PDF?
with the recurrent network. However, the authors propose the
I don't want to
transformer,
read
a
it. We
model
want to
architecture that
download it.
completely relies on an attention mechanism to draw global dependencies between input and output. The transformer allows for significantly more parallelization and can achieve a new state-of-the-art in translation quality with just 12 hours of training on 8P100 GPUs. The transformer is the first transduction model
So we're talking
relying
about
entirely
really
on
this app.
self-attention to
Where
compute
is it?
representations of its input and output without
Which
using
turns any PDF
sequence-aligned
into
RNNs or
stories. We're just trying to
convolutions.
find more
The
PDFs to
transformer
turn into
follows the
stories.
encoder-decoder
PDFs
structure, using
buy
stacked
digital. We don't want to
self-attention
buy
and
Rennie.
fully
They cost
connected
books
layers for
still
both the
sells for
encoder
money.
and decoder.
Like
The
he's
authors
from a long
explain
time
the
ago.
model architecture of the transformer, which
Let's do
consists
this.
of an encoder and a
What's a
decoder
classic?
stack. The encoder has 6 identical layers, each
Let's
composed
pause
of 2
this.
sublayers, a multi-head
See,
self-attention
it's starting
mechanism
again,
and a
but it
fully
doesn't
connected.
work either. Alright. Let's search for Iliad. How do you write Iliad? Iliad. PDF. All right. Okay, but it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be a PDF, but that's fine. You can download it. Yeah, is that the right way? Save it. We'll try to get code interpreter. I have access to code interpreter. We'll try to get it to do the right thing. Let's upload the file. Iliad. Just a sec. I should zoom in a little bit. Let's first take a look at what's there. Oh, I downloaded it too. Yeah, it's gonna try to summarize all the index and whatnot. Introduction, we don't need any of that. How did we do this? Go back. So this already is a PDF. We could just load it. All right. It's gonna summarize. All right. Fine. Let's see what it does. It's gonna try to summarize the index and whatnot too. That's what I'm thinking. Let's see what it does. Oh, Joel, if you're still around, there wasn't any book. Oh yeah, Moby Dick, I think it was. The classic. Anyway, let's go by 10. We'll probably stop short of that, but let's go. Iliad now. Supposedly should. Alright, let me zoom in.
The page describes the Project Gutenberg ebook of
First
the Iliad of Homer,
page.
a classic book by Homer that can be accessed by anyone at no cost.
See?
The ebook can be freely
Says it.
copied, shared, and reused as per the
Summarizing
terms
this.
of the Project Gutenberg license. The author of the book is
The
Homer,
one
and
which
the
is
ebook
speaking
was
of
released in
transformers. The
September
attention is all you need.
2006 with
Paper.
the identification of ebook
This one.
6130. The ebook is written
Not
in
this one.
English, and the page ends with the starting phrase of the Project Gutenberg ebook of the Iliad
Attention
of Homer. On
is
this
all
new
you need.
page, we are
This
introduced
paper.
to the book that we will be summarizing, the Iliad of Homer. This version
You
of the
should know
book is a
this. This is from
translation by
2017.
Alexander
This is
Pope,
almost
and
old
it comes
news.
with notes by the Reverend
But
Theodora
very,
Lois
very
Buckley,
good. Good to
M.A.,
know.
FSA. Additionally, the book also features designs by Flaxman. The year of publication is 1899. This magnificent piece of literature has been enjoyed by generations and contains the story of the Trojan War. The
Trojan
translation
War.
and notes
That's
included
right.
in this edition make it an excellent resource for those looking to
Let's see
explore
what
the
it makes
deeper
of it.
meanings of the tale. This page presents the contents of the Iliad of Homer translated by Alexander Pope, starting with an introduction and the preface written by Pope himself. The book is divided into 24 books/chapters, each with different themes and characters. These books cover the story of the Trojan War and are filled with war, adventure, courage, love,
You know
and
this
sacrifice.
this
The
book.
page ends with a
This was
concluding
when
note.
this is the 300 movie.
This
If you guys
page
watched it.
provides a glimpse into the illustrations included in the Iliad of Homer translated by Alexander Pope, with designs by Flaxman. The illustrations include depictions of various characters and scenes from the book, such as Homer
So we
invoking the
are
muse,
summarizing this
Mars,
book right
Minerva
here.
repressing the fury of Achilles, Achilles bidding farewell to Briseis, and Thetis entreating Jupiter to honor Achilles. There are also maps titled Graeus Sea Antique and Plain of Troy, as well as
I
illustrations of
think
gods and goddesses such
that's
as
why it's
Venus,
trying to summarize
Juno,
the
and
index.
Jupiter.
That's why it's
These
doing so many.
illustrations add depth and richness to the reading experience of this beloved tale of war, adventure, and ancient mythology. This page features a collection of illustrations found in the Iliad of Homer, translated by Alexander Pope. Among them are depictions of various items, such as bows and bookcases, a Greek amphora, and Greek earrings. The illustrations also include depictions of gods and goddesses, such as Iris, Pluto, Juno, and Minerva. There are also scenes from the book, such as Hector
It is
and
not
Ajax
embedded
being
at all.
separated
It's,
by heralds, Juno
it's-
and Minerva
it's
preparing
being,
to help
every
the
page is
Greeks,
being
and Ajax
summarized
defending the Greek ships.
on the
Other
fly.
notable
Well, not
illustrations
on the
include
fly,
the shield
but
of Achilles and a fight
there's
for the
a bit of
body
a
of
backup
Patroclus.
mechanism, but no
These
embeddings at all.
illustrations add depth and beauty to the epic tale of war and mythology. This page features several illustrations from the Iliad of Homer, translated by Alexander Pope,
So, just to
along with
clarify,
designs by
I
John
hope you're hearing
Flaxman.
me,
The
Joel.
illustrations include Thetis ordering
The
the
no
Nereids to go
embeddings,
to the
no, this is
sea,
not based on
Juno
embeddings
commanding
at
the
all.
sun to set, a
I think
tripod,
embeddings gonna
Thetis and Eurynome receiving infant
clouded
Vulcan,
people's judgments.
Vulcan
Not
and
everything
Charis
has to be
receiving
embeddings.
Thetis, Hercules, the gods descending to battle, a centaur, Achilles contending
This is happening
with the
in real
rivers,
time,
Andromache fainting on
page
the
by
wall,
page
the funeral pile of
summarization.
Patroclus, Seers, Hector's body at the car of Achilles, the judgment of Paris, Iris advising Priam to obtain the body of Hector, and the funeral of Hector. These illustrations continue to add depth and beauty to the epic tale of war and mythology, while providing a visual representation of the various characters and events described in the book.
Thank you. Yes, you can try it.
In this
I
page,
posted the
the
link.
author discusses the relationship between knowledge and skepticism, and how they are interconnected. The author explains that being content with one's current knowledge can hinder progress and prevent the acceptance of new information. As society progresses and traditional values are challenged, this healthy skepticism is applied equally to literature and society. The author notes that history and tradition are now subject to more rigorous analysis, with the motives of the writer being just as important as the facts presented. The writer suggests that this critical approach is essential for
This is
progress
a
and
book
growth,
written by
even though it may be challenging and
1,000
uncomfortable.
years ago or something, by the way.
This page highlights the importance of having a critical approach when studying history. The author explains that in order to write an accurate history, we must rely on more than just facts. We must have an understanding of human nature and the context in which historical events occurred. The author emphasizes the importance of viewing historical characters as part of a greater whole, and measuring them based on their relation to the mass of beings around them. Traditions passed down through time should be viewed in terms of their general bearing on the narrative, rather than the probability of their details. The author uses the examples of Homer, Socrates, and Shakespeare as individuals who are often talked about, but poorly known. Finally, the author suggests
he's
that these
probably
great
reading the
writers have given us
preface,
a shared
which reads
language that
the
unites
book.
all of humanity, and that they represent our common
Introduction. He's
benefactors.
reading the introduction. We haven't even gotten to the Iliad yet.
In this page, the author discusses how the personalities of great writers such as Shakespeare, Socrates, and Homer are often shrouded in controversy and uncertainty. He highlights that even their authorship, opinions, and existence are subject to doubt among contemporary scholars. The author notes that skepticism has reached its peak regarding Homer, and our knowledge about him allows us to believe any theory we want, provided we abandon all written traditions about his authorship. The author suggests that skepticism and critical thinking are an essential part of historical analysis, even though some may find it uncomfortable or challenging to confront long-held beliefs. The author cites examples of historical characters and events that are often contested due to contradictory or incomplete historical records. This page discusses the controversial authorship.
This is the summary of the Iliad, the first 10 pages, but we haven't even gotten to the Iliad. It's the introduction.
The author notes that few authorities on the subject exist and are often dismissed in arguments that appear to run in a circle. There are professed biographies of Homer, but they are believed to be forgeries or imaginative works with little truth. The treatise on the life of Homer attributed
well, this
to
was done by
Herodotus
the app.
which
this is an
tells
AI
the story
summary
of Homer's birth and
of the
early life in
situation.
Cumae in Aeolia. It is said that Homer was the result of his mother's juvenile indiscretion and was named Melzigenes. He was raised by a man named Phemius after his mother managed his household. Phemius married Critias and adopted Melzigenes, who became a talented man through careful cultivation.
So the app at the end, so the app asks you to upload a PDF document or select from the four. Then choose a number of pages because PDFs can be many pages. Then summarizes them. And at the end, you can download the summary of the text, summary of the audio. You should be able to download both, but if you click on both, well, I mean, if you click on one, then it goes away. So that's why I gotta fix that. But nevertheless, wait. Is that all the summary? Oh no, this is it. Getting started? No, that's not it. Anyway, I guess there's some bugs to fix, what have you. But we can look for another document. While we look for another document, let's do the Nvidia annual review again, or GPT-4. Anybody on the... Yeah, it's not a tool, Pandarijos. It's an app. You can use it. The link is in the both in the chat. I'll post it in the chat again. It only works with PDF documents, and it's best experience from a non-mobile device because you try to use it on, like, say, iPhone. It's not gonna. It doesn't do the autoplay, so that's really whatever. Like, you make the. You'll see. Let's do Nvidia again while we look for something better. Let's go. This is going to start automatically, it summarizes quickly and then starts.
This page introduces us to the
we don't
book
want
The
to repeat
Iliad of
ourselves.
Homer,
Like, let's
written
look
by
for
Homer.
something.
The book can be accessed
one
for
was
free
this,
and without any restrictions through the Project
Iliad.
Gutenberg license.
Not Iliad.
The ebook was
Let's look
released
for
in
something
September
else.
2006 and is in the English
Apology.
language. This page is the beginning of the book and marks the start of our journey into the world of the Iliad.
Plato.
On this new page, we are introduced to an edition of the Iliad of Homer,
University of
translated
Hawaii.
by Alexander Pope, with notes
Let's do
by the
this one.
Reverend Theodora Lois Buckley, and featuring Flaxman's designs. The year of publication is 1899. This ancient epic poem tells the story of the Trojan War and the battles between the Greeks and the
supposed
Trojans.
To start again, but
The
it's
edition
supposed to
offers
stop
valuable
it.
insights and explanations to aid in the understanding of the complex.
Fine. I'll work on it. Pandarijos, it's of course I mean, it's not running on my own hardware. It's running on Streamlit's hardware, but there is no real, there's no real thing to run. I'm using APIs, OpenAI, and AWS for the voice. So let's load this new thing, the apology. Apology, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, but apology is Socrates' story. Well, I mean, it'll tell itself. Let's go 10. Start it. You don't, I mean, why would you want to run your own?
In this section of the Apology by Plato, Socrates addresses the Athenians and denies the accusations brought against him by his accusers. He admits to being almost...
See, this is the story of Socrates, as told by Plato. That's the only real... This is how we know about Socrates, anyway.
Swayed by their persuasive arguments, but contends that hardly anything they said is true. Socrates asserts that he is not an accomplished speaker, but rather a speaker of truth. He asks the audience to pay attention to the substance of his words rather than their manner of delivery, as he is a stranger to the law court. Socrates then proceeds to defend himself against the accusations, starting with the earlier ones that have been circulating against him for years. These accusers claimed that Socrates was a wise man who makes the weaker argument appear stronger, and that he did not believe in the gods. In this Socrates refutes these claims and his defense against his earlier accusers are his particularly Meletes. Meletes accused Socrates of wrongdoing by busying himself studying things in the sky and below the earth,
Building
apps
apps is a hacky process,
and
so
teaching
it's
these
full of
things to
glitches.
others. However, Socrates refutes these accusations and states that they are not true. He also mentions that he does not charge anyone for teaching them, but he thinks it is a fine thing to be able to teach people. Socrates also tells a story about a man from Paros who spent a lot of money on sophists and how he found out about a man named Venus who possessed the art of excellence and teaches it for a moderate fee. Nevertheless,
For those who are
Socrates
just new,
does not
we're
have this
just
knowledge,
listening to the
and he is not
Apology by
guilty of what
Plato
he is accused
from
of.
2,000 years ago. Well,
In
a
this
summary
page
of
the
it,
Apology by
nevertheless,
Plato,
summary
Socrates explains to the Athenians why he is considered
is
wise,
summarized by
despite not
GPT
believing himself to
3.5
be.
Turbo.
He tells the story of how his friend Cherifton asked the oracle at Delphi if anyone is wiser than Socrates, and the oracle replied that Socrates is the wisest. Socrates was confused by this, as he did not consider himself wise, but decided to investigate the matter by talking to people who were considered wise. However, he found that those who were thought to be wise were actually deficient in knowledge, while those who were thought to be inferior were more knowledgeable. He even found that poets, who were admired for their wisdom and talent, could not explain their own poetry. Socrates concludes that he only appears to be wise because he knows that he does not know anything worthwhile, while those who think they know something, do not. In this page of the Apology by Plato, Socrates explains how he investigated the claim of the oracle at Delphi that he is the wisest man. He sought out those who were considered wise, including craftsmen, but found that they were deficient in knowledge outside of their craft. He concluded that it was better to be aware of one's ignorance than to believe that one knows something they do not. Socrates also talks about how his investigations made him unpopular and the subject of slander. He also defends himself against accusations of corrupting the youth and not believing in the gods, and instead accuses Meletes of frivolously dealing with serious matters.
But not
in this page of the
impossible,
Apology by
okay.
Plato, Socrates interrogates Meletes about
Just
his
a little bit.
accusations of corrupting the youth. Socrates questions Meletes about who improves the youth, and Meletes responds
And mostly
that it is the
straightforward,
laws
like
and the
just thinking
Athenian
about
people.
how you want it to
Socrates
happen.
uses
like,
this to argue that if all
No, like-
Athenians improve the youth except for him, then he must be the only
It's easy if
corrupting
you really
influence,
think about it.
which he finds illogical. Socrates also questions Meletes about whether it is better to live among good or wicked fellow citizens and argues that he would not willingly harm others, and that if he does corrupt the youth it must be unwittingly. Socrates accuses Meletes of not being concerned with improving the youth and avoiding his company, and argues that he should not be brought to court for unwilling wrongdoings, but should instead be instructed privately. In this page of the Apology by Plato, Socrates questions Meletes about his accusations of corrupting the youth by not believing in the gods in whom the city believes. Meletes misunderstands and accuses
while this is
Socrates of
playing,
not
we'll look for
believing in
another
any
PDF.
gods, to which
But
Socrates
honestly, I
responds
look for a
with
lot of
arguments and
PDFs on the
questions.
internet.
Socrates
Let me
questions
actually
whether
pause it, 'cause
Meletes
it's
thinks
gonna mix up. Difficult to find, what is some classics are easy to find. Maybe Old Man and see, sure, but PDF. We need the PDF version. This only works with PDFs. Is that a PDF? Okay, let's download it. This is a good book, by the way. I like it. I mean,
in this page of the Apology by Plato, Socrates
It
continues
keeps
to speak
going
directly
live.
to the jury, stating that it is
because
impossible for
that's
him
the
to believe in
hacky. I'll
spirit.
just refresh this. We downloaded it. Give it a sec. Gotta load it. The Old man. Let's go 10. We'll stop before it, and then let's go.
In this new page of The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway, we continue to follow the story of an old man who has been fishing alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream and has not caught a fish in 84 days. The man used to have a boy with him, but the boy's parents have deemed the old man Solou, or the worst kind of unlucky, and the boy has gone off to fish with another boat that caught 3 good fish in the first week. The old man is described as thin and gaunt with wrinkles and scars from fishing, but his eyes are cheerful and undefeated. The boy offers to go fishing with the old man again, but the old man advises him to stay with his lucky boat. The previous record of 87 days without fish is also mentioned. In this page, the old man and the boy sit on the terrace, watching other fishermen bring in their catches. Although some of the fishermen make fun of the old man, he remains calm and polite. The successful fishermen have already brought in their marlin and sharks to be sold. The wind is pleasant, and the old man is holding his glass while thinking of times long ago. The boy asks if he can get sardines for the old man the next day, but the old man says he can still row and has someone to throw the nets. The boy wants to help in some way, and the old man remarks that he is already a man since he bought him a beer. They talk about the boy's past experiences with the old man, remembering when he was 5 and nearly got killed by a fish. In this page of The Old Man and the Sea by
Good
Ernest
night to
Hemingway,
you.
the old man and the boy recall their past fishing experiences. The boy offers to get fresh sardines for the old man, but he
Thanks for
insists
stopping
on
by.
keeping the ones he already has. The boy and the old man discuss their plans for the next day, and the old man expresses his confidence that it's going to be a good day for fishing. They plan to go out far and return when the wind changes direction. The boy suggests they try to get the fish to come out with the help of a bird or by going after dolphin, but the old man notes that his companion's eyesight is poor. Before going home, the boy suggests getting the cast net to catch sardines. They carry their gear from the boat, and the old man carries the mast home on his shoulder. In this page of The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway, the old man and the boy carry their fishing gear back to the shack. They decide to take the sail and heavy lines home to prevent due damage, and the old man believes that a gaff and a harpoon are needless temptations left in the boat. They go inside the old man's shack, which is made of sturdy guano leaves and contains a bed, table, chair, and cooking area with charcoal. There's a picture of the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Virgin of Corbray on the brown walls, relics of the old man's wife. The boy wants to know what they will eat, and the old man tells him they have a pot of yellow rice with fish. However, the boy knows this isn't true since they go through this fiction every day. The old man talks about catching a big fish, and the boy offers to get sardines for them to share in the morning. The old man plans to sit in the sun and read the baseball while the boy goes. In this part of The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway, the old man and the boy discuss baseball and the lottery. The old man tells the boy to have faith in the Yankees and think of DiMaggio. They talk about buying a terminal for the lottery with an 85, but the old man questions where they can borrow the money. The boy goes to get sardines and returns to find the old man asleep in his chair. The boy covers him with an army blanket and wakes him up for supper. In this part of The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway, the old man and the boy eat black beans and rice, fried bananas, and stew, which the boy brought in a metal container from the terrace. The old man wants to thank the owner of the terrace for his kindness and plans to give him the belly meat of a big fish. They drink bottles of Atway beer, and the old man thanks the boy for waiting until he was ready to eat. The boy realizes that he needs to be more thoughtful and get the old man a new shirt, jacket, shoes, and another blanket. He also wonders where the old man washed since the village water supply is 2 streets away. In this section of The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway, the old man and the boy continue to discuss baseball. The old man believes the Yankees will still win despite their recent loss because of DiMaggio's presence on the team. They talk about players from other teams, including Dick Sisler, and the old man expresses regret that they never asked him to go fishing with them. The old man also expresses his desire to take DiMaggio fishing, believing he may be as poor as they are and would understand. They briefly discuss Africa before returning to baseball and talking about the great manager John J. McGraw. The boy's father thinks he was the greatest, but the old man believes that if DeRoca had continued to come to their village each year, the boy's father would think he was the greatest. Finally, the boy calls the old man the best fisherman. In this section of The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway, the old man and the boy discuss the old man's fishing skills. The boy believes that there is no fish they can't catch as long as the old man is still strong and knows his tricks. The old man plans to wake the boy in the morning to go fishing, and the boy leaves for the night. The old man falls asleep and dreams of Africa, where he grew up, and the beautiful nature around it. He no longer dreams about his wife or great occurrences but only about different places and lions playing on the beach. He wakes up in the middle of the night and puts on his trousers before going to the bathroom. On a cold morning, the old man wakes up and goes to the boy's house to wake him up for fishing. He walks in quietly and wakes up the boy, who puts on his trousers and follows the old man to his shack. As they walk, they see other barefoot men carrying the masts of their boats. At the old man's shack, they gather the fishing gear, have coffee from condensed milk cans, and discuss their confidence for the day. The boy heads out barefoot to get fresh bait while the old man drinks his coffee slowly, with the understanding that it will be all he has to eat for the day.